Welcome to
Good
our Monday
morning.
Mastermind.
Morning.
As we have people coming in, Monday mornings are let's get things going, right?
Yes.
Hey, we've got a lot of people on vacation this week. I know Jim Lambright, he's down in the beach right now. In our area, it's fall break for the kids, so they're all everywhere. So
Hi, Sandra. Welcome.
welcome,
Hi.
welcome.
So these are the time when some of you guys be able to go ahead and we have an open forum today, and it's going to be awesome because what you're seeing here is us veterans who are been doing real estate more than a couple decades. We don't want to
Right.
make ourselves like Coach Kelly. She's like 25 years old. She's been in real estate 24 years. You know what I mean? Kind of superheroes, kind of people. So you get to learn a lot. We're so excited today.
Right. A lot of us old timers live and breathe all this stuff we're talking about, and we're just trying to help agents to internalize and take it in and succeed. That's the fun part.
That's right. That's right.
So guys, we are the Grow Global Group with EXP Realty, and we invite anybody in, any agent can come in and talk and collaborate. We love helping agents across the country, especially how things are changing so much. We were just talking about how Compass is acquiring Anywhere, which is Coldwell Banker, Century 21, and Better Homes and Gardens. I figured something was going to have to happen with Century 21, Better Homes and Gardens, and Coldwell Banker at some point, just because they've been running the same old way for so long. I mean, Tony, how long have you been working around the Coldwell Banker and Century 21 groups? Tony, you there? You're muted.
Sorry. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, forever I've been out there around them.
Yeah.
I can tell you how long I remember going to a conference one time, and I had my cell phone with me, and Marcia Sale, who was a big Coldwell Banker agent at the time, she asked me, she says, "Do you need to borrow a quarter?" I'm trying to make my big old box cell phone work inside a building because I thought I was cool paying $2,000 for a cell phone.
I remember those days.
Yeah, she said, "Do you need to borrow a quarter?"
Uh-huh,
That's how long it's been.
Yeah, long
Well,
time.
Some
Yeah.
people
well,
are
my first,
listening to recording and say, "What is he talking about?"
Hey, Tony,
well,
I was just talking to somebody the other day. I remember the bag phones in our cars, and then we got them permanently mounted in our cars for the cell phone. I mean, it's just crazy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I
Okay, stop
remember.
dating ourselves. Let's give them some nuggets.
Yeah. Hey, I've got a great story I need to tell you real quick. It's
Okay.
some great ideas. So I've got a seller who wanted to live in a neighborhood where there were only 38 homes. So I sent postcards to all 38 of those people. And one of the guys was not planning on moving, but he calls me up and he goes, "Hey, I know everybody in the subdivision. I'll let you know if anything's going on from what I hear." Sure enough, he calls me up and there was a lady moving into assisted living. And so I called my guy and I said, "Hey, look, drive by this place. They may put this up on the market." And he calls me and says, "Yeah, I love it." I said, "Okay, great." So I went and put a personal note in the door of the house. They were moving everything out of the house, no one there at the time. And the next day they showed up to move their furniture out and they saw my note and they called me up. So now what I've got is I've sold the house to the guy that wanted to move. Now he has put that house under contract. I'm putting up an under contract sign this afternoon. And so I got two deals just from putting cards on the door.
There you
And
go.
that's an old way of doing business, but it's just getting out there and telling people what you need, you know?
Well, that's a good lesson because a lot of times it's the first agent that gets to somebody when they're ready to make a change, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
If you would have waited, somebody would have got that listing down the line. They would have called an agent, "Hey, we're ready to list," but you got them just in time before it went on the market and was able to make something happen.
And so essentially I got, two sites because I got, the listing side of the one I was selling, and I'm getting the other side of the one I'm selling there. And so, it's a good, strong transaction. And we're finishing up inspections today, and we're going to close all of it. We're going to close both of them in the same day in 2 weeks. So it's looking
Love it.
good. Yeah.
That leads right into what we're talking about today is how to build a referral based, a repeat business network. And Tony, you got that business because you knew the client. They liked, knew, and trusted you. If they had a problem, they came to you, and you figured out a way to fix their problem.
Yeah.
And you got 2 sales out of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, on the original postcard that I sent to everyone, just for fun, I put a little thing out there. I said, "You may see my client walking around the streets out there looking for a house." And so somebody called me up and they go, "Hey, I think I know who the guy is that's walking down the streets." He says, "I'll let you know if somebody wants to sell." And sure enough, he calls me the next day and says, "There's a house coming up, and maybe put it on the market." So I said, "I'll just put a note on it." And they called me up and said, "If you can put it together, what." One of them said, "Hey, well, they'll pay you more than the guy that's selling." The second guy says, "I'll pay you more than you normally get if you can put all this together." So I made a good, strong transaction on 2 houses.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how to build that kind of referral business. And so one of the things that I do when I have agents come on with our group is I want to sit down with them and go over a game plan on first thing is database management, how to take their database, create a referral business out of it. Because the statistics show that a referral driven business will grow your business long term. And when I sit down and talk to an agent, I'll say, look, you can sit there and get new business all day long. That's today. But you need to build something and put in place strategies that are going to build your long-term business. And if you build your database, if you build your referral and repeat business along the way, then 5, 6, 7 years from now, you're going to get tons of business coming to you organically because of what you're built. I know Tony has a massive database of people that have worked with him in the past. Kelly Jackson, I'm sure, has a massive database of clients she's worked with in the past that keep bringing her business. Is that right, Kelly?
Yes.
So how many, Kelly, how many people, clients do you think you get, or transactions you get from people you have connections with in the past?
Ooh, well, it's ongoing. I mean, someone reached out to Keith recently, and we hadn't talked to, or we hadn't physically seen this person other than on social media and some, every now and then touch points from our CRM. It had been 15 years, and they reached out, and Keith referred them to an agent to sell their house in Chicago. So it's really a long-term, it's for life, because we talk about the value of a client.
Yep.
If you get one client today and then you sell them another, there's one lady, she was expired. I kind of forced myself. Her son played basketball in the same league that I was coaching in at the time. And I told her, you know what? You just go on and list your house with me. I ended up selling that house. I sold her another house. When she sold that one, I sold it. She bought a new one, and I sold her mother's house, sold her mother a new house, and her sister a house. All because of that one day I decided, because and she was an expired, that I picked up the phone and called.
Well, what you said is critical. It's the lifetime value of a client. You can get one off all day long. As a matter of fact, one of the old trainers, Mike Ferry, he was really big about get a new client, make cold calls, get a new client. He didn't really care about past clients. He was just get a new one, get somebody that's ready to do something right now. But what you just described is the lifetime value of a client that you nurture and you build that relationship. You have that trust. They're going nowhere else because you've done a fantastic job when you worked with them, and then you stayed in touch with them along the way.
Yes.
So let's talk about how we're able to build lifetime clients, how we're able to build referral clients. One of the things that I when I'm talking to an agent, first thing I want them to do is to set up their database and use it in some sort of technology today. Back in the day, I had the 3-ring binder with tabs. That was my database, right? And then Top Producer came out. Anybody remember Top Producer way back in the day? That thing was clunky and it was hard to work. You almost had to hire someone just to work it because it was so clunky. But it was kind of the only thing out there back then. But now there's tons of different databases out there. Most real estate companies provide one or have access to different types of technology, or agents pay for their own. They're very expensive. Some of the good ones cost $500, $600, $700 a month to have a good database. But having a good database and working it is very critical in building your referral and repeat business. And why do I say that? Because the statistics show that if you have a client and you sell their house or help them buy a house, if you don't stay in touch with them regularly, top of mind awareness, over time, clients will forget their agent's name. I think there was a study that was out years ago that said, I think it was like 65 or 70% of the clients that did a transaction could not remember the name of their agent after 6 months. So your job is to stay on top of them. Well, how do you do that? Through a database, through calling, through texting, through emailing, through drip campaigns. Everything that you can do to touch on them, to keep your name on top of their mind. And you have to do this consistently. When I have an agent coming on with our group, the first thing I have them do is upload their database into our CRM system. Have them, our staff helps them set up drip campaigns, so their database is automatically being dripped on with their message and not sales messages. I'm talking about, hey, it's Smoke Detector Awareness Month. Don't forget to change your smoke detector batteries. And then it's got your branding and your logo at the bottom of it, right? Of course, the Happy 4th of Julys and the Merry Christmases and that kind of stuff, whatever is your theme. But once a month, have something going out to touch on them. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. Like Kelly said, she is really big on social media. So you have to have some sort of drip campaign on social media where you're putting things out there where they're seeing that. Have a text message going out where they're seeing that. But the number one thing that can't be replaced is calling your database. Picking up the phone, calling them on a regular basis. And different people have different frequencies. I want to hear Tony and Kelly's frequency on how often they call their database or their top list, because you have your whole database, but you have a hit list of the top, 50, 100 people that are your closest, and how often they call them. Tony, you want to kind of tell us, how often do you actually call and talk to your sphere of influence?
Not enough, to tell you the truth. I mean, I have like a top 100 that
Yep.
I contact probably once every 2 to 3 months.
Yep.
I'll call through that list. And then what I do is I'll, I also interchange with them on different things going on event wise, let them know what's happening in their community, that kind of stuff. But just to call and check and see, hey, and one of the things I do on social media is I look for triggers. I look for those things that's going on in their family or their birthday and things like that. And I'll call because of those, and congratulations. Instead of just hitting the like button on social media, I'll call them up, say, hey, I noticed, your daughter just got married, congratulations, how's that going, and just have a quick conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, those are life events. What Tony's talking about is you're following life events. And life events can be anything, but they could be, like he said, a trigger. like if birthdays, anniversaries, if they post about their kid going to college and them moving them into a dorm, that's a life event. What do you think they're thinking of when their kid is out of their house? They might be thinking, maybe it's time to downsize or move to where we want to go, that kind of thing, right? Births, when they have a baby or their family has a baby, different things or life events, retirement parties, great life event because then they retire. What do they want to do now? Have a conversation with them, call them up. Say, hey, what's next for you? You're going to travel the world? You're going to move to your dream location? What's next for you? Just having those conversations. So, Kelly, tell us about how often you call your top list.
Okay, so I learned this the absolute hardest way possible. And 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 don't share this part of it. I have a story to tell, but don't share it on social media. I think she'll
Okay.
get mad at me. But I was invited to we've all heard of Iyanla Von Zant. I know her before she became famous, and she invited me to her 60th birthday party, and I did not go. And I thought, oh, it's going to be a bunch of old fogies there, and I'm not going. And I didn't go. And I saw her at church just before I never seen her again. She moved to go become famous. And she said, I'm working on something really big. And I did not go to that party. And so I learned the hard way that you've got to keep up with your sphere of influence. If they invite you to something, go.
Yes.
Because we're just imagine where I'd be right
Right? The
now.
connections you could have made at that party.
The connections I could have made at that party. And so now, fast forward today, you have to put a moat around your database. And back then, I had the binder, the notebook you wrote everything in. I wrote stuff on napkins when we were out at restaurants, driving, maybe on your hand,
Uh-huh.
all of that. Now I live by my CRM.
Mhm.
And that is probably your CRM. My CRM is one of my assistants,
Uh-huh.
is how I look at it because it tells me what to do even when I'm thinking, oh, I don't feel like doing this. I look in there and I say, well, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And so we have all these, we talk about having some people say a 33 touch or a 36 touch. It's as often as possible. I have a top 200. My top 200, they're hearing from me every month. I am
Yep.
top of mind with those people. Uh, and
Wow.
I don't consider them past clients, they're clients. And so they're not past clients because that says, oh, that's over. No, this is an active relationship. And we are in a relationship business. And back when I actually coached with Mike Ferry, that's how long I've been in the business.
Oh
That was
yeah.
in '02, '03. And it was a transactional industry back then. So we've moved to this, and I didn't have a cell phone. I had a pager. So, ah.
I remember.
but
Then you graduated to the digital pages where you can message, right?
and yeah, and so we've got to look at the occasions that we could reach out. So if you go to January, giving them an equity update on how much their house is worth. In February, there's Valentine's Day. There's tax protest workshops that you can hold. There's Mother's Day, Father's Day. There's their house anniversary. You can invite them to a workshop. Maybe you're doing a seller seminar or a buyer, first time home buyer. In the holidays, there's so many opportunities, whether it's a holiday party, uh, breakfast with Santa. Keith has baked cookies and we delivered them and he baked them because he likes to eat them. But we delivered them. We went to clients' houses, our A+ clients, and we took pictures with them as they accepted these home baked chocolate chip cookies. And the people who weren't home, Keith got to eat them.
Right,
Uh,
right.
and and you can also attach this if you talk about really expanding your outreach as far as the community and getting referrals that way. attaching it to, so my charities, the Arc of Fairfax and Autism Speaks, every opportunity I get is to, maybe I can raise money, maybe I could do some sort of drive or attach my events to them. And so it's a great way to not only keep your sphere connected, but also to add new people to it.
Absolutely. Well, I want to see if Laura's on here. Laura, are you listening? Because I know she's really big with database. She does a lot with it. You there?
She's on a call.
There you are.
No, I'm here. I was planning on jumping on. I had to actually go comb my hair and throw some makeup on.
But yeah, so I know you're really big on database, just like Kelly and Tony are. So tell us about what do you do to keep in touch with your top, 100, top 200 list?
Well, I mean, it does vary a lot. There's some people I seem to talk to a lot more than others. And I think, gosh, if I just kept in touch with more of them like this. But some people you naturally gravitate to, or you spend more time with, or they reach out to you for questions. But I've been working a lot in Bold Trail, which is my CRM, and we do monthly newsletters. And then I find that the most engagement I get is anything personal I do. I do work on social media, and I'll have my VA she'll put out these nice posts that are like, hey, this is what's happening for the weekend. And she'll have a little video going and talk about different events in the area, and nobody will look at it. And last week I posted that my husband built a pizza oven in our backyard, and I showed the pizza oven and I showed the pizza that we had, and I had all this engagement. And then I looked back at all the emails that have been sent since June, and the highest engagement one said at the headline, "I'm here for you and your family." So really, I've been highly analyzing what I'm doing and where I'm getting results. And I'm really starting to narrow it down because I think that's so critical. I was speaking with a client today, and I think this is very relevant. I was telling her I'm having a fall event coming up. So I just did the invitation, pumpkins in my backyard, fall fest, kids are going to pick a pumpkin, they're going to have snacks and games and prizes and blah, blah, blah. And she's telling me, oh, she's old school. So she said, mail it out. But she said since I sold her place, which this is like the third, fourth place she bought for me, which was 2 years ago, she gets all these random realtors sending her things all the time. And she just deletes them. So in her opinion, from a consumer standpoint, I don't know who these people are. I don't know what they're sending me. I'm deleting it. So I think that at the very least, if you're monthly somehow staying in front of them, but they're seeing it, that's the least you could be doing, because it is hard to call through. We all know that. It is hard. I try to call, maybe 10 a week or so. When I'm driving, I'll think, oh, let me call these top 3 or someone I haven't talked to in a while. So I do try to keep up. But what I'm really learning now is, because we're all bombarded so much, I get so many text messages that are junk and spam. Everybody is overwhelmed by it. Everybody's just delete. I think we have to really dial down and get super hyper focused on what is really important. So I think it was Tony that said, and you said, watching those events on Facebook and reaching out with really timely information, it's more time consuming, but you have a much higher return.
Oh, by far. And one of the things that you said is critical is that you're getting more engagement when you provide value.
Yes.
When you provide something interesting, funny, informational. If it's salesy, they don't want to see it because they're getting hit with hundreds of salesy stuff all day long. So when I'm talking to an agent that's coming on, the one thing I talk about in a social media plan is send out something every day on your Facebook, but don't let it be salesy. Let it be funny. People love humor. If it's hilarious, if it's a stupid picture, if it's weird, if it's unique, people like that stuff. Talking about your pizza oven in the backyard, they like that stuff.
They did.
So do unique things and provide value, even if it's something unique about home ownership that they may not have known, right? Do this to prevent critters from getting in your home. things that they might have an interest in, and bring value. And then when you're talking to them, when you call them on the phone, lead with value, giving them updates on things in the area, what's going on with the family, that kind of thing. And that's why when you see a life event happening on social media and you make that call, then and you can bring some perspective or value. Hey, where you going? Helping them dream a little bit. One of the things that we learned, we were Tony Robbins fans for years and years, and we learned about how the mind works and how people think in sales. And people go through life with blinders on. They they get up, they have their breakfast, they get their coffee, they go to work, they drive home, they have their dinner, they may go to the gym. Everything is the same thing, same thing. Anything that you can do to get them out of that is how you can redirect their focus. And one thing that you can do, like Tony said, when they have a life event and you make a call and you start talking about them, it gets them out of their everyday life. And a lot of times people will brighten up and they want to talk about something new. They want to talk about a new direction. Hey, yes, I saw your last kid is in college now. What are your plans? You're empty nesters now, just having that conversation to open up their mind and think more. And that puts you right in the center of that life event.
So in other words, do more intentional, like more powerful, intentional. Back then we have a system to just do it and, holiday and thing, but now do more intentional from what I'm learning today myself from Tony and Laura and, Kelly is to do that. That's really good message.
I really think that if you are highly intentional, you don't even have to touch them as frequently.
I see.
Because you are absolutely being top of mind then. Yep. And my vendor list that I tell people all the time and they forget, and they're always telling me, oh, I just paid this for a furnace, or I just paid this to redo my bathroom. And I'm thinking, oh my God, you got ripped off. And I'm like, hey, did you forget? I have this list for you. So I think that's a great thing to lead with, because you could call them anytime. You could call them quarterly with that. They don't remember that you said it last September anyway.
Matter of fact, that's interesting you said that, because I am that way towards my clients, but I'm also that way for a lot of agents. Like, they call, like when I'm working with them, like one right now. So as agents, and we especially leaders in our industry for a long time, like the client that I was talking to, the agent a minute ago, she's, oh my God, we have a closing. I'm nervous. I don't know what to do. So be a resource to the agents. Like I was telling her, hey, all you need is a POA. And she was like, oh my God, she never heard of that, and she's been in real estate 6 years. She's like, what is a POA? I mean, so a power of attorney, so have to go through the whole process. So giving her the resources and educating them. So that's our job as, real estate industry professional. We got to help not only our selling buyers, but our fellow agents as well. And I've been doing that. And that's what so if you look at Google review on me, some of the agents were just giving me, some kudos to all, because I was helping them, because they just called me and said, hey, Kim, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, and I don't know what to do. And I said, first off, plug on the call every Monday at noon Eastern time, because we have so many experts other than me. I learn a lot from, all the agents here, and whatever I know, I bring to the to them. And guys, I'm so glad you guys are on the call, some of you. So if you have any question, just fire at all of us here. We don't know everything, but all of us, we know a lot.
I would like to also say, because we're talking about being intentional, and well, as far as that vendor list, I found out that it needs to go out like every quarter, because she's right. I don't know, it just kind of goes in one ear and out the other.
Yep.
But I attach it to one of my home inspectors gave me this kind of maintenance thing. So every quarter, and then at the bottom it says, by the way, if you need a contractor for X, Y, and Z, I have a resource for you. And I say they're vetted. And then after they use one of my contractors, I even call them back and say, how did it go? Because that's very important. So it's not just giving people information, it's actually following through with it. That's the one thing. And you mentioned drip campaigns. we've moved away from just general, all of our CRMs come with these canned crap, and
Yes.
everyone can see that. And so using video in your as your drip campaigns is a great way because they looks feels like they're seeing you more. So using video and having things that are of value and answering questions that people have versus these canned ideas that all of us realtors think are just so important. Because I don't know about you, but before I became a realtor, I didn't want to know the value of my house every month. Like I until I was ready to sell it, I didn't need to know that every single month. And so really like the events that are going on, like the local farmers market, that's what I'm talking about in our community page. Like here's the hours because no one knew it was there. I didn't know till yesterday. So really sharing that kind of information that people can use. And in our drip campaigns, I work with 55 and up, so I'm talking about how to put your house in title and how to get more information so that you don't have to go to probate, things that people aren't going to just delete. So we have a very low unsubscribe rate because I don't use canned stuff in
Right.
my CRM at all.
Hey, Kelly, thank you so much. Because two things. One, you said send your vendor list quarterly with the maintenance tips. So that was great. And two, you reminded me because we all talk about video. And I know I'm squirreling a little bit here, but I think this is important. I was at a different farmer's market last week that I had never been to. Why didn't I just pull out my cell phone and even do a Facebook Live or do a quick video? Hey, I'm at the Palos Heights Farmers Market. It's really nice. Haven't been here in a long time. Look at all the vendors they have and just pan it a little bit and put it out there. I didn't do that. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
why
have it
can't
on my
I just do
schedule to
that?
go out to the one on Sunday.
Okay. I'm going to put it down too.
Who
I'm
else
writing
gonna
this
do
down.
that? Who else gonna do that? That's awesome. You
I
know,
People
think we all
love
get
to
the
hear
better of that,
about,
don't we?
people love farmers markets.
They
Yeah.
do.
you mean the woman clients or the male client? We gotta be a little bit, we have to be more mindful now, right? What about the men? What do we tell the male clients? That would be the
Well,
female client, right?
be careful with what you put out. Make sure you check your. So I put out a thing about this free concert that was going to happen in our town Saturday
Yeah.
night, and I gathered up the grandkids. I said we're going to take some chairs out, and I put it out to our sphere, and took the grandkids out there, made a big deal out of it, had food, and I got out there and I realized that it was all in Spanish. It was a Hispanic concert, and I didn't understand a word. So there I was with my family, and they looked at me like, "Are you crazy? Why are we here?"
Hey, we are the people who actually taking action. So sometimes we take the wrong
Hey,
action.
it's okay.
I've done the same on different things.
Oh,
Is
My
I
granddaughter understood a little bit of it.
yeah, yeah.
And here's something else. It's real important to kind of keep your eyes and ears open all the time.
yeah.
I purchased something off of Facebook Marketplace, and I went over. Pam and I went over and met this lady to pick the tool up. And when I got there, I noticed that there were some real estate signs up against her garage. And first thing that comes to my mind is, well, this is an expired listing. These signs are laying here because they've taken them down out of the yard. So I just asked her straight up. I just said, "So are you looking to sell?" And she goes, "Oh no, we're not looking to sell." She says, "Actually, we're realtors and we're getting out of the business. We're retiring and moving to Florida." And I got to talking to her and everything. And come to find out, they were going to leave their real estate company to their grandson, who has not been licensed yet. Okay, and this kid's 20 years old and he hasn't passed his thing. So I just offered up. I said, "Hey, let me mentor him. And I'll tell you what we can do is we can move your real estate company into this company, and I'll mentor your grandson and show him how to take over your team." And the whole thing is just keeping your eyes and ears. First, I was trying to buy a saw. Then I was trying to get a listing, and then I realized, hey, there's an opportunity here because these people are looking at a life change, you know, and
Right.
I just said, let's have coffee. Then the other thing that I threw in there along the way, I told him, I said, until your grandson is licensed, I want to talk to you about a referral, you know, side of things. You're going to have some more business coming, you know, and if you'll send me the referral, you know, I'll pay you referral fees, you know. So you just have to kind of keep the conversation going. But the most important thing is to get out of the house.
Yes.
Go out. Because I could have
Amen.
ordered that saw and had it delivered to my house, never left the house. But the best thing to do is get out and talk to people.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Tony Justo, you have your hand up.
Yes, I actually have a suggestion for, you know, since guys normally don't go to farmers markets typically, a couple ideas. One, this is one for more families. Rent out a movie theater and bring your clients there. They love it. You know, get them like whatever the blockbuster movie is coming out, or, you know, if you want to put an old movie on, like, you know, oh, hey, let's do a scary movie for Halloween or something because that's coming up. You know, anything that's coming up for that season that you want to do to bring those people in, that's a good idea. Other thing, especially great now, it's tailgate time, because if you're into college football, or, you know, that's what your town, you know, is, you can do a tailgate on Saturday for college. If you're for NFL teams, you know, on Sunday, usually great day, get everyone to come out and have a little barbecue, and it works well.
I love those. Yeah, and another one is car shows. Guys love car shows. You could go to a car show and videotape yourself in front of your dream car when you were 16 years old, and then ask everybody, what was your dream car when you were 16 years old? And you'll start getting a lot of feedback. Oh, I wish this, I wanted this, I wanted that, right? Mine was a Smoking the Bandit Pontiac Trans Am. That was my dream car when I was 16 years old. And I say that, and everybody, if you're older like us, you know, you have a mental image of that car, don't you? Right? With the Firebird on the front.
Yeah, big eagle on the hood. Yeah.
Exactly.
My buddy had that car.
But that will get the conversation going. So
Yeah.
So let's back up and go over one thing. A lot of agents who are newer to the business are saying, how do I build my database? Where do I find people? And we were talking about the basics, which are your friends, the people you know, your family, past clients, business contacts, pretty much anybody in your phone needs to be in your database, right? Then you can leverage business connections or sponsorships or partnerships. Let's say, like Tony Augusto said, do a theater and rent out a theater, right? Invite people in, get it sponsored by people. You can have title people and mortgage people and insurance people sponsor those type of events. But networking events where you're getting people together, client appreciation parties where you're getting people together. But today, in today's world, a lot of the connections, like Kelly was mentioning earlier, are coming from social media, where you're making a connection on social media, you're engaging them on social media. Like Tony said earlier, you're not just checking it, you're actually commenting and calling, right? So leveraging social media to add the people to your database. That's the key. When you make a connection, you don't just make a connection and let it fall. You take that information and you add it to your database, and then you start working that database. That's where all this activity comes from. That's where all these connections come from, is people you meet and talk to and connect with and engage with. And like the farmers markets, if you put something on social media about the farmers market, and then someone makes a comment, if they comment on your post, then you comment back. That person needs to be in your database for more connection, more engagement, because they're actively engaging with you.
And also
I'm sorry, go ahead, Kelly.
No, I was going to say, and also anytime you're at a party or anywhere, people ask, well, how's the market? And
All the time.
And we shouldn't have this canned, oh, the market's great. No, well, that depends. Are you looking to buy or sell a property? You know,
Right.
getting their information and say, you know what, I'm going to get back to you. Because if you have their address now, you can now you can be of value to them. You got their name, their
Yep.
email address, and don't give people your card. Get their information.
Yep.
You need to take control of that whole relationship. And also now we have things like Nextdoor and Ring.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Ring camera, and oh my gosh, these people go all day long. But every now and then they're going to say, "Hey, do you have who has a good plumber they could recommend?" There goes my vendor list. And
Yep.
once I find someone on there like that, and here's my envelope going out, I send them my information like, "Hey neighbor, I saw you on Nextdoor. I'd love to be a resource. You were asking for a plumber and I gave mine. Well, I've got a whole vendor list." So there's other ways of pulling those people that are right in your community. They're like town criers. They're
Right.
going 24/7. There's a loose dog. There's this. But we can jump in there and be resources for them. So I've referred, our appliance technician to some people who asked for it in Nextdoor or Ring, and they go 24/7. It'll wear you out, but every now and then I'll intentionally go and look in there. I don't follow it, but I'll go in there and look and see who asked the question and how can I help. Earlier this year, people were complaining that all the government jobs are everyone's getting fired, our values are going to hit the skids. And I said, well, this is my opportunity here. And I chimed in, and some people disagreed, and it was back and forth. But it's a way to really get out there and let people know you're part of this community.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll tell you something else that we just did this morning. There was some sort of an ad that came across Facebook that said I could get my senior, specialist designation, certificate. So I took the little 3-hour course and paid $70 for it, and thought, I wonder if this will be worth it. Well, what it does is it gives me some logos that says senior specialist, and I'll take that senior specialist logo and send it out to social media in the senior community. And there's people out there that are going to buy and sell. People are going to downsize, or people are going to have changes in life, or families are going to get all this thing and say, this guy knows how to take care of seniors. From a $70 investment for 3 hours, I was able to pick that little certificate or logo up. And you think, well, it's not NAR, designate. They don't know.
Doesn't
They
matter.
don't care. They don't care anything about the designations.
Right.
All they want to see is, I know how to do senior real estate.
Yep.
That's what it amounts to. So you just send that out. Yeah,
That's perfect. And senior real estate leads into estate sales and everything.
it does. Yeah, it does.
Well,
Tony Justo.
yes, one other thing I was going to mention, especially be careful with social media. For some reason, I have upset the Facebook gods and they will not let me back on there. They, say facial recognition. Once they see my face, no, you are banned. So I lost a huge chunk of my database. And, I never would have thought, oh, I'm going to get banned. And I know, and when I tell you what I got banned for, you're going to all laugh. I posted a property for sale in Facebook groups, and they said I was spamming people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go through Marketplace or did you just post it?
I went through Marketplace. I had it on my business page. I had it on my Realtor page as well as my personal page. And I went into like groups, and there was like a mom and dad's group of whatever town that this was in, posted it in there. And within a couple hours, I was persona non grata from Facebook. I thought, oh, wait the 6 months or a year, whatever the ban was. And they still are now like, no.
I do that all the time. I post properties in those groups all the time. I don't understand why you got banned.
So Facebook, if you put so many in a group in a day, you
No, I
can
don't do
get
that.
go on their list.
Yeah.
So it
And
depends
again,
on how many.
I think I did maybe 4 or 5 groups, and
Mm, yeah.
which again, I wouldn't think that would cause a stir, but
Yeah.
apparently it did, or somebody, took, offense to it. And
Yeah.
because that's the only thing I can think of that I got
You got
banned for.
competition. Competition's complaining about you. You
Mm-hmm.
got somebody on the run is what it amounts to. And so every time they see your post up, they're putting a complaint in is what they're doing. So, change something about your name or your post or something, and it'll throw them off. But your competition is doing that to you.
I figured
Oh,
it. I figured it was a hater.
Uh,
I was going to say another way to get referrals that we've completely overlooked is from other agents. And I
Yes.
was just looking around, and I'm the only one on here that has my location by my name. Oh, and Tony.
yeah, there
We're
you
the
go.
only
Tony,
two
yeah.
that has our. So whenever you're in a mastermind or in a group, put that on the end of your name so that people know where you are. Because agents, we're just like the public, we forget, and you start thinking, who is that I know in that area, and you can't remember anymore. And so make sure that that's super important. And also we have to leverage. So if you have a buyer and you go to your social feed, this is perfectly legal. You can say, hey, I need your help. And Facebook is going to show that to the algorithm in your neighborhood and say, I have a buyer that's looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath for under 500 in this area. Who do you know? And that's a great way to get some people to on their radar. You're leveraging a buyer listing instead of, we always think of, we can only leverage a seller listing, but we can actually leverage our buyer needs. I've got a pre-approved buyer up to this amount, and I almost never see people do that. And it's a great way to not only engage social media, but also if you're making phone calls or you're door knocking, you're just like Tony said earlier when we started this off, it's a way to say, I have a buyer is a great way to solicit some new business in other ways other than he did it through, just going to that community, sending out postcards. You can make phone calls if you don't have postcard money. You could knock on doors. You could put it on social media. So you can do all of those different things to get people when you have a pre-approved and ready, willing, and able buyer.
You're
I think
absolutely right. And I actually just did this with I had a friend, and his daughter was moving to Ohio, and I just hooked him up with an agent over there. They got his daughter the house, and they loved it. So it works.
Yeah, you'd be
Yeah.
surprised. Contact agents where their listings just expired. You'd be surprised the agents that'll refer you that seller for a referral fee. And just offer up, say, look, if you're not going to go back after it, will you refer it to me? And can I get their contact information? And you'll be surprised at the number of agents that'll refer that business to you.
That's a good point, Tony, because maybe they don't want the listing back, or maybe they're having trouble with them, and they said, hey, instead of losing it all together, let's work a deal. You just refer it to me. I'll go talk to them, and then I'll get your referral fee back.
Right, right.
Great way to farm other agents. And what Kelly mentioned is getting referrals from other agents. Another source is if you're with a big group, like our EXP conference is coming up in October. Lots of agents, when I was with Remax, this is the same thing with the Remax conferences. If you go to a major national conference and you meet other agents from around the country and you make connections with them, then we see tons of referrals back and forth for multi-market. So Kelly Jackson is right. If you constantly tell people, I'm in this market, when you're on these multi-area conferences or masterminds or talks, then you can get out-of-state referrals in a big way that way. Tony,
Now,
how many referrals have you gotten in your lifetime from going to conferences?
no telling. I wear an Atlanta Braves shirt. Now it doesn't say Braves, it says Atlanta on it. Wear it to the conference.
Yep.
Everybody in the world's going to know that you're from Atlanta if you do that. So do something to identify, Georgia Bulldogs,
Yep.
whatever it may be, do something to, just don't blend. Let people know who you are. Yeah.
So I remember back in the day when you go to a real estate conference, agents would have booths in the open area, right? And the agents would be giving out stuff and handing out their information and getting your information and getting all these trinkets out there because they want your referrals for their marketplace.
Right.
Yeah, we just we went to a conference in August and it was in Texas, and there was a Texas realtor there, and he was passing out these snacks from Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Right?
and apparently they were pretty good. Keith really thought that was a great touch, but it made him memorable
Right?
because he had, everyone likes these snacks from Buc-ee's, and it made him memorable to the point where, they started talking and, he's passing out these snacks. So it really is, how can you make yourself stand out at these conferences? My first year at EXP, and anyone can do this at whatever conference they go to with their company. First year, just walked in the door, didn't know a whole lot of people. That first year, I made $88,000 in referrals just
Nice.
from EXP, from really from the back end workplace site, agents saying, "Hey, I need a referral in the DC area." And that was it. And I thought, this is easier than taking candy from a baby.
We have an agent in our organization, and he was brand new. Okay, just got his license, and he went into workplace, and I'm watching things happen on there where agents were asking questions, and this guy was answering the questions. Now he was licensed like a month, and so I called him up and I just called him and I said, "Hey Dan, why are you answering these questions? You're answering these questions. You're the broker of the company." And he goes, "Man, all you got to do is Google this stuff." He says, "The answer's out there." And all of a sudden, he says, "I'm getting referrals from all around the country because they think that I'm so smart." I said, "Good night." And I'll tell you, he had 12 closings just on those referrals from answering with Google answers inside workplace that first year. It was incredible.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because now we have things like Chat GPT and Perplexity
Yeah.
that you can go to and get the answers. And same with those canned the canned messages in our CRM. Well, my $20 assistant, ChatGPT, has rewritten all of my to sound like me, to incorporate my market, to make them really personalized. So when we talk about not sending out canned stuff, you can actually take the time, it takes some time, but rewrite all of those things. Say, "Hey, I want it in my voice. I want to sound like this. I want to, I want it to sound like it's coming from a realtor that's in the top 1%." And that can actually have you come from the top 1%. So you can actually do what they're doing. So use that advantage. If people who aren't embracing AI can help you with every facet, including getting referrals. It can help you write your bios for referral sites. It can help you, like Tony said, write responses to answers. It can even help you summarize the home inspection for a client. It can really help you become that go-to realtor that we all should want to be.
Great stuff.
Very cool. Does anybody have any questions about setting up a referral network or how to work with repeat business and repeat clients? Anybody want to comment?
I have one more thing.
Sure.
I know I'm just
That's
I'm running.
okay. Hey, everybody loves
So,
hearing all these ideas. This is where new innovation comes from.
but there is a process to that repeat business. So especially if you're dealing with agents or whoever you're dealing with, always, always, always send a thank you.
Mhm.
Like I can't repeat that enough. Like it's not good enough to just say, they're getting a referral check if it's an agent. But actually, I had a guy in San Francisco. He referred some business to me. I sent him a San Francisco 49ers cornhole game at the end of the transaction because I knew he was a big, and of course he was playing against my Chiefs that year. So and so he and I was going back and forth about it. And I sent that another guy who's local. He likes whiskey, and I left a bottle of whiskey on his porch. And I called him and told him, "Hey, there's some whiskey on your porch." So there's different ways that we can, whatever they're into, like send them a personalized gift to say, you know what, I really appreciate this. And I can't tell you how much he's in my market. He's only licensed in one state. And so he and his team refers business to me because I took that simple gesture of dropping that off on his porch.
Hey, Kelly, go Dogs. I'll send you the address later. They're going to beat Alabama Saturday night.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Oh,
Hey, Rob,
I love it.
I would I just add something that we're doing. I wrote down most of everything that everyone has said, and some of those things we're using. But one thing that we do to get our clients, just keep in contact with the clients. If we put on events on the weekend, normally webinars, and we do webinars like how to cash flow with ADUs. ADUs is pretty big out here in LA, in California. The importance of having a living trust. So we have a trust specialist to come out and share. And so we have all the agents invite their warm market in their database. And that's what I do with my database. We have, it was week before last, we had a corporation class on asset protection. So we have.
Did we lose Melvin? There you go. He's coming back.
What is ADU?
Accessory dwelling unit.
Yep.
It's
So you
California, very
build
popular.
another house on your property and then you rent it out like an Airbnb. In California, they're doing a lot of them, but in Illinois.
Hey Melvin, you back? You dropped out for a second.
He's having a problem with his audio.
I was just going to ask him if they were webinars or seminar or in-person seminars.
They're webinars.
Webinars?
It's almost every Saturday. It's a webinar.
Online?
Yes, on Zoom.
They're like, oh, it's so you invite
It's about the one that's the ADU, sometimes it takes about 2 hours, but the other ones are normally about 45 minutes to an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a lot of showing there, and it's a way to keep in contact with your database, but letting them know that you have an event, and so they can come if they want, but even if they don't come, we made that contact.
Exactly.
So this coming weekend we have a home.
Oh no!
I think we lost him again.
He was saying that we have a home buyer seminar this weekend. So we'll have all aspects from title, escrow. We'll have the people who do home inspections as well as basic mindset training on how to manifest, what you want, whatever your investment is. And it's for home buyers and investors.
Very cool.
And
Very
so,
nice.
Who are you guys inviting? Are you inviting your database?
We're inviting our agents and their database as well as the community, because all these are things that, everyone needs if they have a home or want to buy a home.
And how are you getting it out to the community? Social media or?
Yeah, we share with our databases and then we invite our friends and family personally.
Do you do like an Eventbrite or anything like that with it?
You know what? They may do some, like when we do
we
lunch
do.
and learns, we do Eventbrite.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the home buyer seminars if we're doing Eventbrite.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I love those. See, great ideas come out of these conversations. I love them.
Everybody's rocking it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, hey, thanks everybody for joining. This was some awesome. I took tons of notes myself on this because
Me too.
yeah, So love these conversations. Can't wait till next week. So we'll be back here next Monday at 12 noon Eastern time. You guys have an amazing week, and I look forward to hearing your success stories on this.